Every 2nd of June, Italy joyously commemorates its Republic Day, known as Festa della Repubblica, a national holiday which celebrates the day in 1946 when Italians voted so their country could become a republic, a land with a new democratic identity and future before it.
Miei cari connazionali, cari amici in Uganda, Ruanda e Burundi, ricorre oggi il 75° anniversario dello storico referendum del 2 giugno del 1946 che sancì l'inizio della democrazia e della Repubblica in Italia. Lo scorso anno la pandemia non ci ha consentito di celebrare assieme fisicamente la Festa della Repubblica. A distanza di oltre un anno dall'epidemia, le campagne vaccinali in Italia e nel resto del mondo stanno facendo finalmente intravedere una luce, un barlume di speranza di uscire quanto prima dal tunnel di oscurità che ci ha avvolti tutti e ovunque. Persistono tuttavia limitazioni di assembramenti alle celebrazioni collettive a garanzia della nostra incolumità e di quella dei nostri cari. Celebrare la nostra democrazia e i suoi valori è doveroso. Lasciarci andare a festeggiamenti, per quanto sentimento legittimo, dopo tante chiusure e sacrifici, non è invece ancora opportuno. Non possiamo infatti dimenticare l'elevatissimo tributo pagato dall'Italia in termini di vite umane. Sono oltre 125.000 i connazionali che hanno perso la vita. Un'intera generazione di nonni, genitori, fratelli e sorelle, ricchezza e memoria della nostra società. Il primo pensiero deve andare a loro e alle loro famiglie. Consentitemi di ringraziare ancora una volta quelle donne e quegli uomini che hanno servito il Paese, come medici, infermieri, operatori sanitari, ma anche i colleghi che sono rimasti tutti al loro posto, spesso in paesi molto difficili, per assicurare attenzione e assistenza ai nostri connazionali. Alla luce del tributo in termini di vite umane pagato dall'Italia e da Ruanda, Uganda e Burundi, quest'anno ho pensato che fosse importante celebrare le nostre radici in questi 3 paesi con un breve documentario storico su alcune delle personalità italiane che hanno contribuito in tempi più lontani a gettare le prime fondamenta dell'italianità in questi paesi.
Many Italians have felt the calling of the beauty of the lands of Uganda, Rwanda and Burundi. Thus we have picked a few to share in these tales of adventure, honor and sacrifice, which have left behind a legacy of spirituality and contributing then and now to the growth of the educational and the health sectors, but not only. Beginning with adventure and exploration, we go back to 1906 when the Margherita Peak, the highest summit of the Ruwenzori Range, was first climbed by an expedition led by the Duke of the Abruzzi, an Italian mountaineer and explorer, and was named for Queen Margherita of Italy. And thus begins the tale bringing Italy and Uganda together. The Comboni missionaries of the Sacred Heart, also known as the Verona Fathers, first came to Uganda on the 17th of February 1910 in Pakwach. From there, they established the Catholic Church in all the northern dioceses of Arua, Nebi, Gulu, Lira, Moroto, and Kotito. The Comboni Fathers now have 11 established parishes and continue to dedicate themselves to the poorest and most excluded people, along with the Comboni sisters, educating, evangelizing, and healing people. Giuseppe Ambrosoli was an Italian priest and professed member from the Comboni missionaries. He served as a doctor and surgeon, as well as being a philanthropist and educator in the missions in Uganda, where he was first posted in 1956. He became known as the Saint Doctor for his loving and compassionate treatment of all ill people whom he dedicated himself to, and the hospital he founded still runs today in Kalongo. Piero Corti was an Italian doctor who came to Uganda in 1961 and settled in Leccione near Gulu, where Combonian fathers had built dispensaries. Corti, together with his wife and colleague Lucille, were committed to treating, operating, fighting for, growing, and working for St. Mary's Hospital Leccione, which today counts over 300,000 patients each year and has been chosen to represent the battle against AIDS in Africa, since it was the first hospital to identify and confirm the first AIDS case to the Uganda Ministry of Health. Italy also wishes to honor Corti's close friend, colleague, and the man destined to be his successor, Dr. Matthew Lukwia, the Ugandan physician and supervisor of St. Mary's Hospital Leccione. He was at the forefront of the 2000 Ebola virus disease outbreak in Uganda, which took his life. His handling of the Ebola outbreak and the personal sacrifices he made saved thousands of lives. Brother Elio Croce, an Italian Comboni missionary, spent his entire missionary life in northern Uganda. He built operating theatres and wards. In 1985, he was transferred to Gulu to the large Lachore hospital, where for over 20 years he defied the guerrillas and faced the Ebola epidemic in 2000. His courage, faith and charity will always be remembered as he sadly succumbed to COVID in 2020. Doctors with Africa QM have been working in Uganda since 1958, a long journey that still goes on. The efforts of volunteers and local health providers are focused on combating the spread of HIV/AIDS. Doctors with Africa QM celebrated 60-plus years of great service and contribution to the health sector of Uganda, reaching out to all human beings, especially the neediest and suffering in hard-to-reach areas. Italian contractors have contributed to more than 30% of permanent structures in the region since after World War II, with construction projects. In the late 60s, Edward Mutesa II was at the inauguration of Kafu Bridge alongside Cavaliere Giovan Barone Campagna, who also took part in the construction of the Namugongo Martyrs Shrine. To celebrate the longevity of art, how it remains a universal language, 400 years after his passing, Uganda was the only of 2 countries in Africa selected in 2019 to host an exhibition to honor Leonardo da Vinci, with an exhibition showcasing true-to-size reproductions of 17 of his paintings in the newly refurbished Uganda Museum. Moving on to Rwanda, we find Antonia Locotelli, an Italian missionary educator who had lived in Rwanda since the early 70s. Through her testimonies, she witnessed massacres of the Tutsis taking place in the Bugesera region, south of Kigali. In an attempt to save 300 to 400 Tutsis, offering her own home as shelter, she was gunned down on the night between the 9th and 10th of March 1992. Pier Antonio Costa was an Italian businessman and diplomat who was the Italian honorary consul in Kigali during the Rwandan genocide in 1994. He was noted for the humanitarian assistance and safe passages that he arranged for over 2,000 people, including over 375 children fleeing violence during this time, for which he was nominated for the 2011 Nobel Peace Prize. Severian fathers and sisters have been in Burundi since the 1960s, offering their services in devotional missionary work, focusing on children and the youth. From the stories and journeys shared, we're happy to see that the legacy of the Italian love for the region lives on. Here to wish you a happy Republic Day, some children from the Italian and Ugandan communities who still gather today at Ambrosoli School to study.
Buona festa della Repubblica.
Ciao, buona festa di tutti gli italiani di Repubblica italiani.
Viva la festa della Repubblica. Buona festa della Repubblica Italia.